This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Social stratification entails the arrangement of a cluster of people in a society as depicted by their social status. Power, wealth, and prestige are the significant determinants of social stratification in any given society or nation. It is important to note that social stratification affects an individual's entire life through a myriad of factors. These factors may include societal positions, life expectancy issues, and the level of access to resources within the society. Social stratification assumes different shapes and forms depending on the applied mode. The three primary forms of social stratification are identified as class, caste, and estate. These forms depend on legitimating rationales that are held by a given society. Forms of social stratification and their legitimating rationales. Caste is a term that emanated from a Portuguese word known as cauta. The word denotes a particular group of items or people. Caste, as a stratification system, is uncommon in many parts of the world. India is probably the only place that embraces the system. Individuals maintain a given caste throughout their life and, thus, it stays irrevocable. In other words, once an individual is born into a particular caste, he cannot switch to another level or category in society. This implies that social status in this particular case is inherited and, thus, it lacks social mobility. The caste system remains intact as a result of different castes that do not support any kind of mixture. People from different castes are not allowed to do things together. Religion is the primary enhancer of the caste system in India, and it has existed for over 3,000 years. It was abolished in 1949, but traces of its prevalence are still evident. Estate is a form of social stratification which emerged much later, especially in Europe. The system comprised the commoners, the nobility, and the clergy. It is important to note that legitimization in this case is enhanced by legal justifications where the feudal believed they had the upper hand over the commoners. The feudal basically comprised the serfs and the clergy, and they owned most of the land. Ascription is the most extensive method of placement as opposed to achievement. Unlike the caste system, where people from different castes have limited contact, contact is evident though impersonal. The class system does not necessarily portray many restrictions as other systems seemingly evidence it. Here, individuals are free to move up the ladder of opportunities as much as they want. It basically depends on an individual's hard work and dedication in his or her endeavors. The system is quite open, and achievements are facilitated by constant struggle. Its legitimization also lies in legal justification. Roles played by legitimating rationales. The legitimating rationales that influence social stratification play a significant role in this discussion. They not only enhance particular placements in society but also maintain or change a particular individual's classification in society. The legitimating rationales basically influence an individual's reasoning, and in most cases, they remain psychologically unprepared to take advantage of changing circumstances. These circumstances can easily lead to significant social changes. For instance, legitimating rationales psychologically encourage some members of the community to enslave others and vice versa. These indications are generally embraced across society, and thus, inequality is bound to continue for more extended periods. Functions of social institutions. The basic function of a social institution in society is to help that particular society or nation grow. Strong social institutions serve to discourage corruption and typical vices that weaken society. It is evident that solid social institutions are based on merit as opposed to personal satisfaction. This aspect is evident in progressing countries. The lack of effective institutions indicates that society will most likely suffer from illiteracy, huge debts, poverty, and corruption. Social institutions are typical relational structures that create relationships and obligations. There are several social institutions in a society, namely family, religion, government, education, and economy. For example, the functions of the economy help pave the way for the production of services and goods. On the other hand, the functions of religion are meant to instill a moral code among the members of a particular society. List of achieved and ascribed statuses. There are two categories of statuses that an individual can portray at any given time. The two include achieved and ascribed statuses. An achieved status is basically acquired through merit. It is made by a person and portrays his or her expertise, efforts, and talents. Doctors, nurses, and teachers are examples of individuals with an achieved status. The issue of race is a typical example of an ascribed status. An ascribed status is depicted by an individual's limited possession of control over that same status. Currently, my prowess in athletics, my writing skills, and my career in music stand out as achieved statuses. These were achieved as a result of hard work and intensified practice. Sex and race, on the other hand, qualify as my ascribed statuses. The difference between the two categories is that the former entails abilities and talents that I worked so hard to achieve, whereas race and sex are issues that I had little control over. In other words, I did not choose my gender or race, but this automatically happened at birth. This essay on social stratification forms and functions was written and submitted by a student just like you. The IvyPanda Samples database hosts thousands of works similar to this one on various subjects. Visit ivypanda.com to find what you are looking for.